Hello, investors. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Michael from Deep Value Returns and Seeking Alpha. Today, I want to talk about Unity Software. So, Unity Software is one of those companies at the epicenter of like the metaverse movement. For companies that want access to content that you write once and deploy anywhere, you should come to Unity Software. So there's a lot here to be excited about. Particularly, we're going to discuss about Weta Digital's the acquisition of Weta Digital by Unity. We're going to talk about how investors should think about the overall landscape. So we're just about a week away from Unity Software reporting their Q4 results and guidance for 2022, and how investors should think about whether Unity has what it takes to grow at 30% compounded over the next couple of years. So gonna go through all this, and yeah, hopefully it's helpful. So in the past several weeks, Unity, like every other tech company, has just basically just been totally demolished. You can see from top to bottom, it's just been like a wipeout, really, like 50% for many. But if you've been investing in tech stocks, this is not new news to you, right? You kind of seen this. I've discussed this quite a few times already. There's a large discrepancy between the large caps and anyone below the kind of top 5 mega caps. If you're not investing in those, or if you have stuff that is, in small and medium cap stocks, you know what I'm talking about. You kind of seen massive sell-off, and you're kind of doubting yourself, and you think to yourself, okay, is my process right? And you kind of just, you have to stick to the process. So anyone that has deployed has deployed capital into Unity in the past, let's say 6 months or so, you're kind of holding a loss right now, and you kind of think to yourself, what's going on? So ultimately, stocks go down as well as up. And everyone understands the stocks goes up, but they do occasionally go down. And, as it stands, you have to think about it, right? So stocks do tend to go back up, but when you're kind of looking at a 50% drawdown, you kind of think to yourself, okay, you're full of doubt, you're full of pessimism. And when I try and look at Unity, I kind of think to myself, okay, there's a lot more pessimism being priced in right now relative to what it was a few weeks ago. But a few weeks ago, everyone was going around shouting, oh, cash is trash, and everyone was kind of saying, oh, I'm going to deploy in this because I'm really, really fascinated about Unity software. And as it stands right now, I've spoken to a few people, and everyone's like, okay, I'm going to keep cash on the side, and I'm going to wait for things to look a bit better. So it's kind of interesting, because a few weeks ago, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to go all in on this. And then when things kind of go a bit crazy, everyone's like, okay, I'm going to just hold out a little bit. But as you can see here, their guidance for Q4, which is about to be reported next week, they're pointing again, to approximately 32% on the high end year-over-year growth rates. But Unity has a long history of just basically lowballing and just smashing through. So if they come out to, let's say, 35%, I wouldn't even be surprised. If I sell, let's say, 37% year-over-year, I wouldn't be that surprised. And they've consistently noted that they expect to grow at approximately 30% compounded over the next several years. So there's really a lot to be attracted to. So just as a reminder, so what Unity does is it essentially allows you to create content and deploy it. Okay, so you can create it, deploy it anywhere, and then use some of its tools to monetize or engage the audience. Okay, now the majority of what Unity does is deployed in gets revenues from the gaming industry, but it's as on the back of it's trying to really expand out the reach into architecture, automotive designers, and filmmakers. And that's what I already alluded to in the introduction. Its acquisition of Weta Digital for 1.6 billion is really a step towards embracing the filmmaker industry. So it is a land grab, and they're just trying to. It's much more than just bringing the 275 technicians as part of the deal, but it's really expanding the addressable market by a further 10 billion. Now, if you think about it, right? So Unity has two different solutions: has the create solutions and the operate solutions. The create solutions is the flagship product. That's the one that everyone kind of knows. So it's the ability to create content, deploy 2D or 3D, real-time 3D content. So when you want to deploy your content into different operating systems, in the past you'd have to kind of write different bits of code to be optimized for different places, whether it was an Xbox or whether it was a Windows or whatever. With Unity, write it once and deploy it into about 20 different platforms, including virtual reality. So it's much easier for the developer. And on the operate side of operate solution, it's how it gives them the tools, the developers the tools to monetize the content. Now, the idea being that if you're already using the create solution, which is a flagship product, you'd be able to leverage within the dashboard of the create solution. You'd be able to open up the operate solutions to be able to get some of those tools access to it. So it's an ability to cross-sell within different within the platform. For the developer, this is something that's very, very attractive. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I mean, when it comes to appraising these kind of investments, it's much more insightful to follow the customer than it is to follow the revenue line, because the revenue line can be quite bumpy. But you can see here, so the number of customers spending more than 100K per year on Unity was up 32% year over year. What's more, on a dollar-based net retention rate, it's up 142% year over year as of Q3. So that number, that net retention rate, really tells you that not only customers are coming on board, but Unity is able to upsell more products to the customer base and derives 42% more revenues from them compared to a year ago. So, it's a sticky platform, and that's why you're paying a premium for it, right? Now, this is the problem, and this is one of the blemishes kept a lot of investors away. So Unity is saying that they're going to be a non-GAAP operating negative in Q4, and they will not be reaching break-even profitability until 2023. Okay, so it's a business that right now is very much aggressively investing for growth and is not going to be reporting break-even free cash flows until 2023. So we're just now at the start of 2022, so that's a really long stretch. Now, if you think about it, right, a few weeks ago, investors were paying 30 times forward sales, 40 times forward sales for Unity, and right now you just priced approximately 20 times. So it's clearly a substantial sell-off, and this doesn't necessarily mean just because people are paying 30 or 40 times forward sales that paying 20 is going to be a bargain, because just because something was expensive doesn't mean it necessarily goes back being expensive. On the other side, previously investors were not that concerned about the business not being able to generate positive free cash flow. Right now, people are a bit more kind of apprehensive about that. On the other side, when it comes to investing, what you really want is to have visibility, and you want a sticky business, and that's what Unity provides. And you're not going to get those kind of aspects. A business that has 30% visibility, a 30% compounded annual growth rate as a guidance, plenty of visibility, lack of surprises, particularly cheap, even in this market. So those are the two sides of the equations if you want to think about that. But if you want to find out what kind of stocks I'm investing right now, don't forget to check out my marketplace. It's called Deep Value Returns. You can see the name right above the screen there. Come on board, get involved, chat with our investment community. I help you by providing you with high quality, actionable investment ideas. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.